Hi, welcome to Eng-lane English classroom. In 10th standard, we have already discussed the first unit, all the lessons, all the activities, the language elements related to or which may appear there, and everything we have discussed. Now we are going to conclude that unit with some instructions to support you for appearing for a unit test. Dears, hope you have watched all the videos with the lessons in unit 1, don't you? Now let us have some glimpses of that unit. Okay? What was the main theme of that unit? That is nature. And what is the what are the sub themes? Harmony of nature and conservation of nature. Okay, what were the lessons? First prose lessons are, first lesson is Adventures in a Banyan Tree by Ruskin Bond. I think you enjoyed that story. That's a short story. You enjoyed it, and that was the story of a boy who lived in harmony with nature. You remember that? And as you know, it is very convenient to learn it by dividing that story into 4. First one is the interactive part. Second one is his friendship with the grey squirrel, and third one is the fight between the cobra and the mongoose. Last one is the strange case of the white rat and grey squirrel. And you are good children, that's why you can remember all these things. You can make notes like that, that will help you, and you can write the important events under each session. Right? Under each session you have to write the events too. Okay? Now when we come to the next short story, there's also a wonderful, very interesting story, The Snake and the Mirror, written by Baipur Sultan by Muhammad Bashir. You know, that is the story of a homeopath, right, who was unmarried, and he shares with us his experience of his encounter with a poisonous cobra, right? And that is a blend of fear and humor. You know that is why there are some contrasts, and mainly there are 3 contrasts. First contrast is between who the homeopath really was. Second one is who he wanted to become. The second contrast is between his dream of his future wife and his real wife. Third one is his thoughts while looking into the mirror and his thoughts when the snake coiled around his arm. Now you can remember all the things and try to brush up all the things now itself. And let us move on to the next poem. It will be discussed in brief here, so we can move on to the next part. Serious. These are the things or discourses that we have discussed in detail in the lessons or along with the lessons, right? First one was a letter. You remember that. This one is a paragraph or a small write-up, and a narrative, diary, and again narrative, paragraph or write-up, and profile. 3 profiles we have come across. And then these are the things. A teacher is free. A teacher is free to ask any discourse, because you are in 10th standard. You have come across with most of the discourses in 9th standard, right? Still, the prominence will be given to these because we have discussed this in this unit. Okay, everything is there were process done, evolved in our videos. So if you feel any doubt or any confusion, you have to watch the concerned video, then that will help you, right? Now, serious. Coming to the poem, some lines have implied meanings. I say trick-lined, that means the poet is in his blissful stage. The human soul that through me ran, that shows man's vital relationship with nature. And next one is, and much it grieved my heart to think what has man has made of man. Two lines together. That means man disrupted the harmony of nature, the misery the humans have caused each other since time immemorial, right? And nature's holy plan means nature fills everything with pleasure. Okay? Now, coming to the poetic devices, first one is hyperbole, figure of speech, alangaram, right? Hyperbole. He heard 1,000 blended notes. We cannot hear 1,000 noise or 1,000 sounds at a time. So there is an exaggeration. Exaggerations in the poems is called, or exaggeration in a poem is called hyperbole, right? Okay. Next one is personification. You see, to her firework, poet calls the nature her, using the personal pronoun. That means here the nature is considered or regarded as a human being, a person, right? Periwinkle, all these are like this. We have discussed in that video. Periwinkle trailed wreath, the budding twigs catch the breezy air, nature's holy plant flower enjoys the air. All these are examples for personification. Personification, you have got it right, considering inanimate thing as a person or a human being, right? Next one, alliteration. Much it grieved my heart. See, the sound of m, it repeated at the beginning of those two words. That's why it is alliteration, you know. Here m, same, right? Next, auditory image. That can you hear while you close your eyes, right? See, 1,000 blended notes. We can feel or we can hear it in our ear, even though we shut our eyes. That means this image appeals to the sense of hearing, right? Okay. Next one is visual image. It appeals or they appeal to the sense of sight or seeing, right? The glow. We can simply close our eyes and we can imagine or we can bring all these things in our mind as a picture, right? Image means a verbal picture, you know, right? Or word picture, right? Okay. Glow, green bower, flowers, primrose and periwinkle. The birds around me hopped and played, budding twigs. You know, all these are instances of a visual image. Now, olfactory, which is appealing to a sense of smell. Every flower enjoys the air it breathes. Next one is tactile, sense of touch, that is breezy air. Next, all the stanzas, each stanza follows the rhyme scheme A B, right? And so there are many rhyming words, notes, thoughts, reclined mind, linger, think, ran man, baffler, reads, breathes, played, made, measure, pleasure, fan, can, the, send, lemon, plan, man. Okay, dears? Now we are going to brush up or remember how an appreciation is written. It is there, we have discussed in detail. Introduction must be there, and a sample appreciation is there with the second TM or second part of that poem. You have to go through it. Introduction, the author should be mentioned and main theme should be there. Next, literal meaning, or that means the paraphrasing of that poem should be written or that part should be written. That means you have to change the language into a prose language. Next one is imagery, which are the images and what are their meaning you have to write. And lyrical quality, lyrical qualities means the beauty that we can catch when we listen to that poem, right? when we hear that poem. There you can include rhymes, rhyme scheme, alliteration, etc. Right? A figurative meaning. That means it's implied meaning. That we are appreciating that poem and we are going into depth. Right? The poetic devices like simile, metaphor, personification, hyperbole here. Personification and hyperbole are there. You know that, right? Message conveyed. And why do you think the poem past that message convey that the poem conveys that message? You have to justify it, and finally you have to conclude it with your own evaluation of the poem. Right? More sample is there. You have to go through that. Now let us see a tool. Read the following passage from Adventures in a Banyan Tree and answer the questions given below. You can expect such a question, a passage from our textbook or from the lesson we have learned, and some questions will be there. In the public exam, to all exams, you can expect such questions. What you have to do is read this passage one or two times and once or twice, and after comprehending it, you can read the questions, then you revisit the passage and you can write the answers. See the first question, what was the incident that triggered a long-lasting excitement for the boy in summer? It's very clear. The sight of a fight between a cobra, a huge cobra, and a mongoose. You know that, right? Next one is, when did it happen? It is here. It was on April afternoon. It is the, and next one is, why was the boy feeling drowsy himself? You know, you have to get to the ideas, then only you try to answer this. You know, it was warm. The warm breeze of approaching summer was there, so, or were there, so it was warm, it was very hot, that's why he felt or he was feeling drowsy. And pick out a word that means very big, that means, which is the word here, huge is there, huge, black or huge is there. Now you can analyze the type of questions. Some questions may be about the facts in the passage, some you have to analyze it, some you have to infer and you have to use your own power of analysis, and some questions may be based on vocabulary. So you have to practice this like this. If you want to get the full score of this part, you have to read the passage minimum at least 4 times, right? Okay. Now the second question will be like this. Read the lines from the poem, lines written in early spring, and answer the questions. See, to her favors did nature ling the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. First, who is her referred to in this stanza? You know who is her? There too, you have to read this one twice or thrice. Then you have to read the questions and then you have to revisit it. Okay. Her nature, you know. How does the poet associate himself with nature? It is the nature linked his soul through his soul which ran through him to her fireworks. It is the right. There's a vital relationship between the poet and nature. Next one is find out the line scheme of the stanza. You know, A B. What expression what man has made of man suggests. You know, man disrupted and the harmony of nature. Now you have to think again about the variety of questions. First one is about the pronoun or the speaker or such like question will be there. Next one is about the ideas there in the poem. Next one is about the peripheral beauty, or what can we say, the image or eye scheme and poetic devices and the like. And last one is whether you have understood the implied meaning. So you have to read it many times and you have to use the notes in the videos, then only you can score full. Right? Yes. Did you understand the poem? Did you enjoy the poem? Did you appreciate the poem? And did you enjoy its verbal beauty of the, or the its verbal beauty or the verbal beauty of the poem? All these things will be there. Okay. Now next one, you can expect any of discourses. Here, prepare the character sketch of the doctor in the story The Snake and the Mirror. I think we have written or processed the character sketch of the boy, so you can do it yourself, right? Next, profile of Ruskin Bond, you can do it yourself. And next, the boy was thrilled at seeing fight between the cobra and the mongoose. His diary is there. You can write it yourself because we have processed it. Next one is the doctor in the story The Snake and the Mirror writes a letter to his friend telling him about his frightful experience, how it be. You can write it, I think. Okay, because we have written such a letter, right, in the first unit. And there are some more scopes for some other type of questions are there, just like asking question based on unfamiliar passage or interpreting data. But in your test it is not so much possible because of we are making it for maximum 1 hour, right? But you may expect that one. And even though it is there is no problem, you can do it yourself, right? And when we discuss the term evaluation and the public exam and the model, we will do all those things. Now you can expect some questions based on the language elements, right? First one here, it is given editing. You have to read this many times, then you may feel that that is not right, and you can write it. Okay, before long he was delving, after was, we may not, in a video we have discussed that one, we may not use delve, then what should be used? Think of that, right? And helping myself, this is about he was then what reflexive pronoun should be used there? To whatever he could, after could can be used for. He was a very young squirrels, very is there, so squirrels, that is possible. You can do it yourself, write it. After that sending this, we can analyze it. Now identify the noun phrase and head noun. We have discussed in detail when we did the activities, right? The bold mongoose that walked fearlessly up to the cobra had the big snake by the snout with lightning snap. Serious, what I have told you is that you have to find out the main verb of this sentence. See, the bold mongoose that walked, it is not free, that's why we cannot consider this one. This is a part of that. Fiercely up to the cobra had, this is the main verb. So up to this you have to write as a noun phrase. Okay, the bold mongoose that walked fearlessly up to the cobra, this is noun phrase. Had the big strength, that is the, up to this, that is the verb phrase. And which is the head noun? Bold mongoose that walked to fearlessly up to the cobra. Here it is about mongoose, so mongoose is the head noun. Okay, dears. Now such like this type of questions may be the grandfather, that is complete the conversation suitably. See, grandfather, he is asking something. I have been in the garden is the answer. We will discuss framing questions later, but it is simple, you can do that. I have been in the garden. In the garden is the main part of that second sentence. So the question will be, where have you been? You are very happy. There is a comma and a question mark, and the answer is yes. Then you can ensure that there is a tag, right? Okay, what's the tag there? You are into you. We have discussed the question tags, right? And then see, there's a question and the answer is a small gray scalar. Then that will be answer is small gray scalar. And what will be the question? Yeah, who is that, right? Next, asking some question, then he says no, let it live in the banyan tree. You see, no is the question mark. Certainly that will be a yes or no question, right? So listen, so here we have to make the yes or no question. What will be the no, let it live in the banyan tree? Then what will be the question? He might have asked, shall I take it here? Shall I take the little square here? That can be. So grandfather is advising me not to take it, but let it live in the banyan tree. Then he is again advising, we had better. After that, we use V1 first form. You have learned it in the 8th standard. You had better leave it there. You can write like that. Okay, yes, I think I got all these things. Now same is there, you can do it. Okay, now hope you have learned what we have discussed, and try to, this question paper is attached with this one. You try to write it yourself and send it to your teacher. Okay, and thank you for watching. Meet you again. Till then, goodbye, best of luck.